Okay, so according to Sarah Gamble, the author of this book, which is about feminism and post-feminism, she says, communication contains reflections of both our personal identities as male and females, as well as our cultural views of gender and gender interactions. This underscores the pivotal role that communication plays in the analysis of gender stereotypes. So essentially what this means is that communication reflects all parts of us, whether it's our past, present, future, the way we've interacted with people before, and then of course the stereotypes that people already have in place based on who or what we are. So these stereotypes obviously destroy all credibility within an organization, either just for individuals or the organization as a whole if they have that reputation. This article called Tackling Clinton and Sexy ScarJo does a lot of talking about the way in which like women and men speak and present information to a group. So someone like Hillary Clinton is seen as, just, I have words but I can't use them. The way people explain her is her demeanor is like manly, and she is just direct, and honestly that's not a problem, but stereotypes tell us it is. And on the other hand, it talks about Scarlett Johansson and how kind of like her looks and the way in which she talks and presents herself as like sexy undermines her like career and her abilities. So that was interesting to me. What they go into more is report talk versus report talk. Essentially what that is men are known to use report talk, which is I give you a piece of information, I delegate a task, I say whatever it is, and it's just a report. I don't care about the friendship or having sympathy for how you are. It's just reporting information. As opposed to report talk, which is what women tend to use more, or at least are stereotyped to use, is more like emotional and friendly, like how are you, those types of interactions before getting into the information bit. So as far as the solution, this came from another book, and it was or an article actually, and it was kind of about the different laws and things that are being put into place in order to kind of stop these societal norms and these stereotypes in place. And it talks about 1/3 of all women at some point face an ongoing epidemic of gender-based violence. This doesn't necessarily mean physical, it just means stereotyped and taken advantage of because they're a leader and a woman in the workplace, as opposed to men don't usually deal with that because they're just stereotyped as being the leaders and giving those commands, and that's kind of it. So going forward, we can challenge biases and work to implement bias trainings in our organizations. Biases play a big thing into these stereotypes. That's where stereotypes come from. So if we can try and eliminate those early, hopefully an organization can function a lot better. As far as like what we can do and trying to visualize this a little bit, like I said, disrupt those societal norms, be different, change the status quo. Being a yes person doesn't get anyone anywhere. Sometimes you have to stick up for what you think is right. One of the articles I read talked a lot about just setting clear expectations, not necessarily as a leader in an organization, but as just an individual in an organization. This is how I communicate, this is how I take certain communication styles. It's important to lay those out there before. It's also important to reflect on your own biases. We all have them, conscious or unconscious. We all think things, so it's important to really think about what you're thinking and if need be, change it up. And approach all situations with cultural competency. This chart gives a couple examples of that, but just be aware that people are different and that's what makes everyone unique. Different leadership styles come in all different looks and different ways, so if you can't recognize them and adapt to them, you're not going to get anywhere in an organization. So think about that article I was talking about earlier, another example from it, the Clinton and ScarJo one. They talked about, like in politics especially, if you don't change your demeanor for the people you're hoping to get, like your constituents or just the people you want to vote for you, they say you won't get votes. Like you can't just be yourself. That stereotype goes all the way back to like everything we do, I think. So change it up. That's what I got.